Going to the Golden State Valkyries, you can see that every single emotion was just coming out of everywhere for the Las Vegas Aces.
Something huge just went down in the WNBA, and it's sending shockwaves through the league. Sydney Colson, a two-time WNBA champion and one of A.A. Wilson's closest teammates, has just rejected the Las Vegas Aces and signed with the Indiana Fever. That's right, Coulson is now teaming up with Caitlyn Clark, and let's just say Wilson is not happy.
Las Vegas Aces are on the brink of being eliminated from the WNBA playoffs, and recently they have been in the news for all the wrong reasons.
The Fever are making power moves, and this might be the biggest one. Yet what does this mean for the Aces, and why did Coulson choose Clark over Wilson? Buckle up, because we're about to break it all down. Let's get into it.
Sydney Colson of the Las Vegas Aces has just signed to the Indiana Fever as the mysterious point guard that we have all been guessing wrong about.
The WNBA is in complete chaos right now, and all eyes are on one team, the Indiana Fever. They have been making power move after power move, assembling a roster that has fans either excited beyond belief or absolutely furious. But among all the big signings they've made, one move stands out the most. Sydney Colson, a two-time WNBA champion and one of A.A. Wilson's closest teammates, just left the Las Vegas Aces to join Caitlyn Clark. In the Fever, that's not just another free agency move, that's a...
Listen, I am so curious as what A'ja Wilson, how she feels about this, and have they talked about it? I'm sure they have. I'm sure they are really good friends. I'm sure, I don't know how A'ja will react, to be completely honest, because like, if you think about it, this was the day of A'ja Wilson's shoe drop and the announcement, big announcement, and this is definitely big news that I know is taking the internet by storm right now.
And let's be real, A.A. Wilson is not happy about it. For anyone who's been following the WNBA for a while, Coulson's departure isn't just about basketball. This is personal. Coulson and Wilson weren't just teammates. They were like family. They had chemistry both on and off the court. The two-time champions were practically inseparable, with Coulson playing the role of the veteran leader while Wilson dominated as the face of the franchise.
And Caitlyn Clark and her jersey retirement were also the same day, so I cannot imagine that this feels too great for A'ja Wilson, just particularly like with the timing of everything. But also, I'm sure it doesn't feel great for A'ja Wilson to lose the best locker room player in the WNBA.
So when the news broke that Coulson was heading to Indiana, fans immediately knew this was a major shakeup.
Locker room, locker room, locker room. And who are you going to get that is willing to take a minimum, like a veteran minimum salary, that has had the championship experience and is willing to come in for a few minutes a game, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe not even every game. But this is something that I trust the Indiana Fever, so the front office is so much right now.
Wilson waking up to see her right-hand woman leave for another team must have been a shock to the system. I mean, can you imagine? You win back-to-back championships, you build a dynasty, and then out of nowhere one of the key pieces walks away, and not just to any team, to the one team that is being built to take down the Aces. That's like your best friend ditching you for your biggest rival. It's a betrayal that Wilson is clearly struggling to process. But let's take a step back and really break this down. Why would Sydney Colson leave a championship team? At first glance, it doesn't make sense. The Aces are coming off 2 straight titles. They still have A.A. Wilson. They are one of the most dominant teams in the league, and they're expected to contend for another championship. So why would Coulson walk away from all of that? The answer is simple. The Indiana Fever are building something special, and she wanted to be part of it. Look at what the Fever have done this offseason. They landed Caitlyn Clark, the most hyped rookie in WNBA history. They brought in Natasha Howard, a proven veteran and defensive powerhouse. They signed Anna Borner, an absolute bucket-getter and a leader on and off the court. They added Sophie Cunningham, a gritty, hard-nosed player who fits perfectly into their system. And now Sydney Colson. This is no longer just a rebuilding team. This is a championship-caliber roster. Coulson saw that, and she wanted in. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just about the Fever building a strong team, it was about Caitlyn Clark, because let's be real, Clark is changing the entire WNBA landscape. Ever since she entered the league, teams have been adjusting their rosters, making big-time moves, and trying to position themselves for the future. And if you're a veteran like Coulson, you're looking at this and thinking, I want to be part of that. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a talented player, she's a game changer. She's bringing massive attention to the WNBA. She's selling out arenas, she's getting national Media coverage that the league has never seen before, and players, they see that too. Coulson made a business decision, plain and simple. She saw where the league was going, she saw where she could make the biggest impact, and she made the jump. But while Fever fans are celebrating, Aces fans, they are absolutely losing it. Social media is in meltdown mode. Some fans are still in denial, saying things like, "We'll be fine, we still have AA and Chelsea Gray." Others are straight up furious, asking why would she leave us for a rookie. And then there are the fans who are already throwing in the towel, saying that's it, Indiana is winning the title, we're done. It's hilarious and heartbreaking at the same time, because the truth is the Aces dynasty is starting to crack. In Coulson's departure, that's a huge sign of trouble. Think about it, this isn't just about one player leaving, it's about a shift in power. The Aces were the dominant force in the WNBA for the past 2 seasons. They had the talent, the chemistry, the leadership, they were untouchable, but now the pieces are falling apart. They've lost Kelsey Plum, they've lost their GM, they've lost assistant coaches, and now Sydney Colson is gone too. The Aces don't feel invincible anymore, and on the other side, the Fever are looking stronger every single day. But let's talk about how this actually affects Caitlyn Clark, because this isn't just about Sydney Colson joining Indiana, this is about what it means for Clark's development. We all know that Clark is coming into the league with an insane amount of hype. She's expected to be the next face of the WNBA, the player who brings millions of new fans to the game, the one who elevates women's basketball to a whole new level. But that's also a ton of pressure. The WNBA is not college basketball. The competition is tougher, the players are stronger, and the season is longer and more grueling. Clark needed a veteran presence around her, someone who could show her the ropes, help her navigate the league, and keep the locker room steady. And that's exactly why Sydney Colson is a perfect addition to this team. She's not just a great defender, she's not just a veteran leader, she's a personality, someone who can keep things light, keep the energy high, and make sure that this team stays connected. And let's be honest, the content we're about to see from Clark and Coulson together, it's going to be legendary. Coulson is one of the funniest players in the league, and now she's teaming up with one of the most talked about rookies ever. The Fever are about to become must-watch TV, not just for their games, but for everything off the court too. And that matters because the WNBA isn't just about winning games, it's about building a brand, it's about growing the league, it's about creating a team that people want to follow, want to support, want to invest in. Indiana knows this, and that's why they keep making all the right moves. Meanwhile, over in Vegas, the panic is real. The Aces thought they had built something unbreakable, but with each passing day it's becoming clearer and clearer. The WNBA is shifting, and the Indiana Fever are leading the charge. And AA Wilson, she just got a front row seat to the change. The WNBA is shifting, and the Indiana Fever are now at the center of it all. Sydney Colson's decision to leave a championship team and join a rising contender is shaking up the entire league. But this move is about more than just roster changes. It's a sign that the balance of power in the WNBA is changing, and not everyone is ready for it, especially AA Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. Think about what this means for the Aces. They were the most dominant team in the WNBA, 2 straight championships, a squad stacked with all-stars and Olympians, a tight-knit group that looked unstoppable. But now the foundation is cracking. Wilson waking up to see her trusted teammate Sydney Colson leaving for Indiana must have felt like a gut punch. It's one thing to lose a player, it's another to lose a player to the team that's coming for your throne. And let's not pretend this doesn't sting. Coulson wasn't just another player for the Aces, she was part of their locker room identity, the kind of veteran leader that holds a team together. Her decision to leave sends a message, one that Wilson and the rest of the Aces can't ignore. The Fever aren't just trying to compete, they are trying to take over, and that is exactly why Wilson is furious. She spent the last few seasons being the face of the WNBA, dominating the league, winning championships, and building a dynasty in Las Vegas. Now she's watching as Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever steal the spotlight, and look, let's be honest, Wilson hasn't exactly been thrilled about all the attention Clark has been getting ever since Clark entered the WNBA. There's been constant debate about whether the media and the league are giving her too much attention at the expense of veteran players like Wilson, and now Clark's team is poaching key players from Wilson's own squad. You think that's not getting under Wilson's skin? You better believe it is. Coulson's decision isn't just about basketball, it's about respect, and Wilson, she's feeling disrespected. But let's take a step back and ask the big question. Why are so many players choosing to join the Fever? Why is Indiana, a team that finished with just 5 wins 2 seasons ago, suddenly the most attractive destination in the league? It comes down to 2 things. 1, Caitlyn Clark is a magnet for talent. 2, the Fever are being smart about how they build around her. Players want to be part of something special. They want to be on a team that's rising, not falling. And right now the Fever are on the rise. They are building a team That isn't just good on paper, it's built for long-term success. Look at the moves they've made. They didn't just sign big names, they signed players who fit. Natasha Howard, a proven defender who can lock down opponents and bring toughness. Dananna Borner, a scorer with experience, someone who can step up in clutch moments. Sophie Cunningham, a gritty, fiery competitor who will fight for every possession. Sydney Colson, a veteran leader, a locker room presence, and a player who knows how to win championships. This isn't just a random collection of talent, this is a blueprint for success. Meanwhile, what's happening in Las Vegas? They are losing key pieces, dealing with front office drama, and watching as their once dominant core starts to break apart. And that's why Wilson is so frustrated. She sees what's happening. She knows the Aces aren't the clear-cut favorites anymore, and that scares her. But let's talk about what this means for the Fever moving forward, because it's one thing to build a great roster, it's another thing to turn that roster into a winning team. Clark's arrival has completely changed expectations for this franchise. A team that was once just trying to stay competitive is now being talked about as a legitimate title contender, and make no mistake, that's a lot of pressure. Can Clark handle it? Can this team live up to the hype, or is this just another case of a super team on paper that struggles to deliver in real life? That's the question everyone is asking, and that's exactly why Coulson's role on this team is so important, because this isn't just about basketball, it's about building a winning culture. Coulson brings experience, leadership, and a championship mentality. She's been through deep playoff runs. She knows what it takes to win on the biggest stage, and more importantly, she knows how to keep a team together. That's something Indiana desperately needs as they transition from being the hunters to being the hunted, because make no mistake, the rest of the WNBA is coming for them. The Fever aren't underdogs anymore. They are the team everyone wants to beat, and that's a huge shift. For years, teams like Las Vegas, Seattle, and Connecticut were the ones that everyone measured themselves against. Now Indiana is entering that conversation, and Wilson, she's watching it all happen right in front of her eyes. So here's a real question. Is this the beginning of a new WNBA dynasty? Are the Fever building something that will last? Or are they just another flashy super team that can't live up to the hype? That's what we're about to find out. But one thing is certain, Sydney Colson's decision was just the first domino to fall, and the aftershocks, they're about to reshape the entire WNBA landscape. Wilson is mad now, but by the time this season is over, she might be even angrier, because if the Fever do what they're expected to do, if they rise to the top and knock the Aces off their throne, Wilson won't just be watching from the other side, she'll be watching knowing that her own teammate helped make it happen, and that's the kind of pain that doesn't go away. This isn't just free agency drama, this is a power shift in the WNBA, and Wilson, she's got a front row seat to the takeover. So there you have it, the WNBA power shift is happening before our eyes. Sydney Colson left her championship team to join Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever, and Wilson, she is not happy about it. What do you think? Did Coulson make the right move, or did she betray the Aces? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you love breaking WNBA news and deep dives into the game, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. More wild moves are coming, and trust me, you're going to want to stay tuned. See you in the next one. The WNBA is in complete chaos right now, and all eyes are on one team, the Indiana Fever. They have been making power move after power move, assembling a roster that has fans either excited beyond belief or absolutely furious. But among all the big signings they've made, one move stands out the most. Sydney Colson, a two-time WNBA champion, and one of Wilson's closest teammates, just left the Las Vegas Aces to join Caitlyn Clark in the Fever. That's not just another free agency move, that's a